My family is from Southern California, and we were part of a solid church there, so I grew up in a Christian home. We attended Faith Bible Church every Sunday, and I was at youth group every Wednesday. I heard solid preaching and the clear gospel on a regular basis. The only reason I went to church was for friends and not to learn about God. I was actually ignoring Him. Going to church just to hang out and play with friends was leading me away from God instead of leading me toward Him. When my family moved to Texas in 2020, it was sad leaving the friends I had my whole life. I was angry and mad at God for taking me away from my friends. I became angry towards everyone and had no desire to make new friends because I just wanted my old friends from back home. At the end of 7th grade, my family started coming to Compass, and it was scary to start a new church. It was only scary until I met some friends, but just like at FBC, my desires to go to church was still only for friends. As I was getting older, I began to struggle with lust and envy also. I thought I was already saved because in 6th grade I had repented and accepted Christ at an FBC summer camp. It wasn't something I thought much more about or worried about because I just thought I was saved. My anger and lust just got worse, but I was self-deceived because I kept telling myself I was saved in 6th grade. As I was getting older and started to listen more at church, God helped me understand the Bible better. I began to realize I was showing no fruit and started doubting my salvation. In April of this year, I went to one of the baptism service. I wasn't really paying attention until Dakota came up, and I wanted to hear him since he was another teenager. God used Dakota's testimony to open my eyes to see that I was not saved. I felt so convicted, I started to cry as he finished his testimony. I'd never even talked to him before, and I was surprised that God had used his testimony to show me I was not saved. I realized when I said I got saved in 6th grade, there was no change in my life and no fruit. When service was over, I went to the parking lot with my dad and confessed to him. For the rest of that day, I kept thinking about, if I were to die right now, where would I go? I was face to face with the fact that I had no relationship with God, but I understood God loved me so much, He sent His Son Jesus to die on the cross for my sin and take my sin as His burden. So I cried out to God to forgive me and accept me and make me a new and born-again believer. After that day, my life started to change. I don't worry about if I were to die, whether I go to heaven. My desire to go to church isn't just for friends anymore, but I want to learn more about God and the gospel. I actually want to read my Bible now instead of just wanting to please my parents by telling them I read it. I understand I need to focus on the Word during times of temptation, so I have 5 verses I use to help me. One that helps me a lot is Proverbs 26:11, which says, like a dog that returns to his vomit is a fool who returns to his folly. God is helping me have more self-control with my anger and be more patient with others, especially my siblings and classmates. He helps me battle lust, and I am able to flee from it. I think more about the gospel and have a desire to share it with others. Instead of putting school and waiting until the last minute, I have become more diligent and focused. I am more thankful for what God has done for me and given me. A verse that convicted me when I was not saved and still helps now that I am saved is 2 Timothy 2:22, which says, now flee from youthful lust and pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace with those who call on the Lord from a pure heart.
All right, Aaron, it's based upon your profession of faith that we baptize you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.